In 2009, there was a really good opportunity to set up an arts organisation in Hull. The fruit market had just been moved and relocated, and the council wanted to do something with the empty buildings. So my colleague and I got together and we put together an idea for a gallery, a printmaking studio and a ceramic studio, and to also have spaces where artists could come and work and use specialist equipment. And at the time that was seriously lacking in Hull, and we thought a lot of people would benefit from it, including us, because we wanted to access those types of equipments and spaces as well. So we've been there for 7 years now, and we've had some great artists through the doors. We've been able to support a local artist economy by offering a space to sell work, which is something that was lacking and is still lacking in Hull, and to also have a place where amateurs and professionals and people that are just interested in learning something new can come and create something without having to do a whole essay about it. The impact on my practice of setting up that studio is enormous, because I've created lots of new work that I've thought about for a number of years and researched for a number of years, and found out about different theories and schemes and ideas through doing public realm work, and I've collected these with drawings and photographs, and now I'm being able to create that in clay, and that's something that I hadn't done for a number of years. The last commissions and the new work that I've started to build in the last, say, 3 or 4 years has been exhibited in lots of different places. And for me, that's been really inspirational, because I've been able to see what other artists are doing, build a network of artists, and also it's given me a newfound confidence in my own work, because in the studio I'm highly critical of what I do, and then to be able to put that onto a platform with artists that are really, really good makes me feel slightly better about what I'm doing and gives me more confidence to carry on. I'm not sure whether I always wanted to be a ceramicist, but I definitely wanted to be an artist of some sort. And for me, when I was younger, it always happened after school. I would go home and I would make things, and it could have been out of cardboard, bits of material, it could be mud in the garden. I would go home and make something, and that would fill my time until it was time for tea. And then it wasn't until later on that I found clay. I mean, I trained as an artist, so I did printmaking, painting, drawing, and then I was introduced to craft techniques like glass and ceramics. And I was always steered away from ceramics, but I loved it so much that I just kept on with it. So really, when I start to make a piece of work, I approach it from that background, from a painter's perspective of responding to something and making something new. So I don't make the same thing twice. On occasion, I do like to bring together printmaking and ceramics, because with printmaking, I really like that transference of an idea. So it's almost abstracting an idea from a whole context, and it becomes something else. And I really like that process. I really enjoy that process, because it also becomes like a memory or something that's fragmented in some way. So on occasion, I do try to involve printmaking in my ceramics. But sometimes the 3 dimensions of the ceramics take a form where printmaking just can't be a part of it anymore. But it's not excluded from my work. The memory plates, or the story plates, they came to me from a particular situation. I was given a set of photographs and letters from my grandmother and my great-grandmother's family. And I was really interested in these because, of course, they weren't connected, obviously. And so you look at this and you think, well, how can I be creative with it? What can I do with this to suggest a situation, or to try and put these links together and make some kind of speculation on who these people were? The Pomegranate Seed, with the story, the first thing that I recognised with that story was the spidery writing, which was not unlike the letters that were from my grandmother. The connection there was that the writing was really faded in the story and really spidery, almost like a memory fading, but there was still evidence of it there, which was similar to those letters. But then in the story, I became really obsessed with the tension that builds in the story, and the way that the wife becomes really obsessed with the letters, and there was something there, but you couldn't quite visualise it. But you knew it was there, and the wife was getting very, very tense about it and scared about it. And so I started to look at the title and then try to understand the Pomegranate Seed title, of how that connected with the Greek myth. And the Greek myth essentially was about the fear of the unknown and the fear of something that was that was there and that we could feel was there, but we didn't know anything about and that we couldn't control in any way. So I started to look at things that we can't see, but we know that are there. So we need microscopes, etc., but we can't see these things with the naked eye. So I looked at the pomegranate pollen grain, and it's such a interesting shape. I wanted to explore that further. So I built 24 of them. And the reason I built 24 of these pollen grains was because I wanted to focus on the tension within the story and how the intangible isn't there, and how we can speculate about what is there, but we don't actually know that it's there. So I started to look at ways to decorate them, and that which you cannot see is based on the ghost story, The Pomegranate Seed by Edith Wharton. There's various making processes within the pomegranate seed. So there's throwing, and there's slab building, and there's also press moulding. So I started off with throwing a ball, and then made lots of extruded bits of clay, long sausages of clay, and then chopped these up into little circles to try and get the texture of the exine surface of the pollen grain. And then what I wanted to do is have them stand up at different positions. So I threw some cones that were not unlike the apertures that are in the pollen grain itself, and attached those to it and put those onto different angles, so to try and capture a movement in a still object. I really enjoyed the commission for The Haunting. It's really pushed my work in a different direction, and it's the first time that I've actually responded to a story. And I never thought I would respond to a ghost story, because I've always been a little bit fearful of reading ghost stories. So for me, it's been an absolutely brilliant commission.